Thank you for the love that exists, not human love, but the love which you've instilled upon us by first loving us. Let the celebration continue, not only for this next hour, but for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and the rest of our lives. Because we're not just celebrating 175 years here, dear Lord, but we're celebrating our relationship with you. In Christ's wonderful name, amen. If you could grab your hymn and hymnal, I should say, and turn to number 408 and sing Our Firm Foundation. And you are blessed. I am not song leading you.
Oh, wow. We'll try this again. This time we'll
the first settlers came here to Cordova in 1838, and just a few years after that, they started organizing a group of men led by Jesse Seeley of the ABHMS. they started holding services here. They baptized 10 people and started a little church that's grown into this. One of the neat things I read about here, you'd think we're tough, we know what we're doing because we're smart now, we're old. But these guys, I'll just read this excerpt from here. Mr. Hauberg, a local historian from Code Township, wrote years later, my father, Marks D. Hauberg, related to me that he attended a baptismal service at Cordova during the winter of 1854 or 1855 while he worked for Billy G. Marshall. A hole was cut in the ice and the candidates were then baptized in the river. How did we survive? But yeah, those early Baptists, they believed in rugged adherence to the scripture, winter or summer. So, yeah, I mean, that just, it's a tough group of people we've got as part of this history. And it shows in, kids as they're growing up and the things they go through and trials and tribulations we all endure, but we've always been able to, turn to people here in the church for one thing, great resource, and there's somebody here that is always willing to help, a friend in need. Just great to be part of this place. We're great. And I did want to point this out to Pastor Kress. In 1844, you remember that? No, you don't. But Elder Tubal Wakefield of Norwich, Connecticut, is called as a part-time pastor, and her salary was $91 a year. Should we have a little meeting right now? So you're very fortunate. You're probably getting a little more than that. $92.50. Yeah, so the pay is low, but the hours are long. Skip ahead here a little bit. In 1869, Mr. Wade Hampton, a colored man, received into church membership. Now, these aren't my words. This is the words that are written down there, but in 1869, we had integration here. And that's something I really didn't realize, I grew up and it was rare to see a person of color. By the time I got in the Navy in 1976, wow, there's a lot of different people in this world. And that's when I first realized that song, Jesus Loves the Little Children, red, yellow, black, and white. There really are people that are red, yellow, black, and white. Like, when you find that out, it's good. It's like, no, they're different. I like that. I don't want everybody to be like me. Let's see. 1905, the spire was removed for safety reasons. On this, and I don't know, somebody fell off of it. Wasn't that I think that was the story I read here. Yeah, somebody who actually fell off of it, broke both his legs and an arm, but then they said he broke both his legs and an arm and died instantly. So, I don't know if they tried to set the legs or poor guy. Rest in peace. In 1944, the church incorporates under the laws of Illinois as the First Baptist Church of Cordova. That was in April of 1944. So, yeah, we're kind of, celebrating the 175th anniversary all year. Actually, December 28th this year. And that'll be another big service, right? Okay, and then we got new lighting fixtures in 1957. Was it just gas until it was candles? Was it lit? So I know they used to have trees and stuff for the lights to come up and down, and they'd light them. And we got a new Hammond organ in 1957. Oh, and I was born in 1957. So there you go. And then jump ahead all the way to like 1991. And that's when Kathy Wembley was installed here. And she was the first woman pastor. I found that hard to believe, but I'd been here all that time. Well, yeah, she was. But she's also been the longest serving up to now. A lot of good memories with Pastor Wembley. She's had the longest pastorate in the history of the church. Let's look at a few of the founding families we've got here right now. Oh, there's more in this church history. We have these down there, or yeah. Or you could just call Pastor John. He'll hook you up. The founding families of First Baptist Church in alphabetical order. Amanda Adams. Any descendants here? No. William Armstrong. Jared S. Cool. Margaret Cool. Andrew and Marianne Agee.
There's a Frank video.
There we go, right there.
That was my father-in-law's family.
Very good. Charity Golden. There you go. Joyce Klein. Mr. and Mrs. Levi Hungerford. Rebecca Passmore. Joseph Sexton. Mahala Sexton. And the Swartout family. That's the founding families. They were the first group here to get together on a regular basis and praise the Lord and try to do what they could for the community. And it's always been a community church, and they're just wonderful, wonderful. Like I said before, you can't say enough good about the people of this church, and their numbers may grow and diminish, but I tell you, the people that are here, they are here for you. And I appreciate that. And now, I think Elaine would like to play something.
I think we skipped the first one where my sister was supposed to play.
We skipped the first one?
We'll do both now.
What?
We can do both now? Okay.
Good idea.
I just turned it over and that was it. I did the founding families. Is there a page missing? No.
Right under the hymn.
Why don't you do that? Oh, I thought that's what she was playing at first. Go ahead, hit it.
you ladies. It was wonderful, as usual. Okay, now am I back on track? Community leaders. We have leaders in this community. A lot of followers. Sometimes it seems like there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Sometimes there's. Am I wrong? Anyway, we've got is Jim still? Jim Boone, our mayor, he was here earlier. Chuck Smalley, fire department chief. Karen Lonigan and Shalyn Pinero Green. Pinero Green, and they were here earlier. But Mike Seevers. I've known Mike for a long time. I remember him taking us to the Saddle Club once when I got out of the Navy, or I was home on leave the first time in the Navy. And I never did thank you for that, but thank you. I wish the Saddle Club was there too. That was good.
Well, I guess I'm the designated community leader speaker here. First of all, I want to congratulate the church on 175 years. I was doing a little back of the envelope math here, and the United States is 242 years old this year, so the church wasn't far behind. 1843, significant part of the history of the United States, and speaking as commander of the Legion here, that means that Cordova has been sending its sons and daughters to wars, starting with the Mexican-American War and continuing up through the present time. That would include the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War I and II, Korea, Vietnam, and all the current commitments that we are involved in today. And I think the thing that I like to talk about with organizations and small communities is the links between these organizations and how to make things work in a small town. Many of us in the Legion actually belong to this church. You can look around and I can recognize several of my members out here in the congregation today. And even those that don't actually belong to the church, I'm sure have benefited over the years from the services of the church and the fact that it is here for them whenever the need arises. We do quite a few actual cooperative ventures with the church here lately. We've been doing some spaghetti suppers and things like that, some joint fundraisers, and trying to sort of build these ties with the community and build things up. So we are really fortunate with the Legion to have the church here in town and to cooperate back and forth. And I realize having common members is one good way of doing that. But everybody has kind of embraced this, and I think that's one of the very positive things in a small town. You have to have that cooperation. Our time at the library, we don't have a Legion Hall anymore, so we have our meetings at the library every month, and the librarians support our activities as well. And with the fire department and the rest of the community organizations, we certainly are available and are here to support them as they are here to support us. So once again, congratulations to the church. I have been fortunate to be a part of that since I was baptized in about 1960, I believe, so kind of dating myself a little bit there, but I know the time when I was away in the Navy and serving overseas, the church family was always here for me. And certainly any one of us that has experienced that certainly appreciates that fact. So I guess in conclusion, I just want to say, and this is not taking anything away from the celebration today, but we're celebrating another anniversary this year as well. As many of you know, 100 years ago today was the end of, or not today, but 100 years ago on November 11th was the end of World War I. So we are having a service at the cemetery that day. It happens to be on a Sunday this year. Normally we do our Veterans Day activities at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is traditional, but of course
A lot of people will be in church at that time, so we're having our services at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on November 11th. So I just want to extend an invitation to everyone here to please come out to the cemetery. We will have some special activities going on that day, and we would certainly love to see all of you there if you can possibly attend. So thank you again for this opportunity, and I'll turn it back over to Mr. Kress.
Well, okay. Thank you, Mike. All right, pastor recognition. Keep me on track here, John. Thank you. First, we have the Reverend Paul Gibson, Executive Minister of the Great Rivers Region, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri.
Sure.
All right.
I think I'm doing good. I'm going to invite John or the moderator. Maybe I'll have the moderator come on. Want to present a certificate for your 175th anniversary. This says the American Baptist Churches of the Great Rivers Region joined with the First Baptist Church of Cordova, Illinois in celebration of the 175th anniversary of Christian service from 1843 to 2018, presented October 21, 2018.
First Baptist Church of Cordova. What do you think?
All right, good. I've been here a number of times. It's always good to come back. And after our meal, I actually took a walk for about 20 minutes along the river. When you don't grow up, when you're not around the river much, it's a big deal to come up here. And I always enjoy traveling back to the freeway along the river. And every time I've stopped somewhere along just to sit there for a while. But I also realized something that you can do on the original date. What is it, December
28th.
Baptism.
Lunch for Jesus.
Go if it's there, go chop whole. And
Yeah, there probably won't be any ice though.
I guarantee you they will never
Really?
forget that
Won't be any
baptism.
ice there.
We had one in our church once in the wintertime, and the heater didn't work in the baptismal, and it was freezing cold. Those kids remembered that baptism. they would come out and say, that baptism really meant something to me. Anyway, it's good to be here and good to be involved, and we're excited for your ministry here. I'm excited when I hear people talk about the ministry in the community, because that's a big part of who you are and what you do. You reach out to the community and do things. And so I want to commend you on that. Keep it up. I don't like speaking a long time in the afternoon, so my message is done. Although I want to say it worked. You did it right. Okay. She was concerned. She's got her shoulder and she's had surgery, but she really did a great job. So good job. I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have to be in Springfield a little before 5. So I said, let me speak first, because I have to go get to my car and head on home. So I will be doing that, but it's been wonderful to sit around the table and chat with you and get to know you all. And I look forward to coming back again.
Thank you. Next, we have Reverend Rex Rogers, Area Minister for Northern Illinois Areas 1 and 2. Or 1 and 3.
You know, it's all right. I have no idea who numbered the areas.
You know, Johnny can't read it. That's what.
And I think they put me after Paul so that when he leaves, I'm not going to feel guilty because I know what he's doing. So it's okay. I had the privilege this past February of traveling to Northeast India. Now, I know everybody thinks of India and has that big country and kind of in the middle there, kind of sticks down. But Northeast India is up farther north and is bordered. There's a little isthmus property that goes from India to Northeast India. And there's Bangladesh and China and Myanmar, Burma, and there's like 3 or 4 countries that kind of surround the northeast India. 150 years ago, American Baptist churches sent missionaries to the northeast India area. And I was privileged to be there this past February as they celebrated 150 years of American Baptists, sending missionaries there. And when they gathered, there was over 300,000 people gathered. There was in a makeshift tent, and the tent was large enough, I stepped it out, it was large enough to put 3 football fields side by side. And it didn't hold everybody. It was that many people were there to celebrate Christ coming to them through the American Baptist churches 150 years ago. There is the region was called the Garo region, the Garo Baptists, and many of you are going, okay, what's the big about that? Well, if you think of the song, I have decided to follow Jesus. How many know that song? I have decided. Yeah. I'm not going to sing it all, that's okay. But I didn't know that when I got there. Well, I'd heard the song, but I didn't know where that was from. And so I'm getting there, and I'm walking around, and, I'm this tall, bald-headed white guy, okay? I stick out. Everybody can see me, right? So everybody knew who I was, and so they kept coming up, and they would come up and say, thank you. That was the only English really some of them knew, but it was just, thank you. And I'm going, you're welcome. You're welcome. But what I realized was that they were coming up not to thank me, but to thank American Baptists for sending their missionaries to them, because they, as a result, know Christ. So I pass that thank you back to you. I've said this to so many American Baptist groups because it was because you sent missionaries and continue to send missionaries today. But I mentioned that song because I also learned that song has special meaning for the Garo people. Because there was one tribesman who came and believed, was one of the first believers in Jesus at that time. And the tribal chief brought him in front of everybody and said, you need to renounce this Jesus person. And the guy says, well, no, I have decided to follow Jesus. They threatened and actually did bring his 2 sons up and said, if you do not renounce, we will kill your sons. And they killed his 2 sons. They threatened to bring his wife up. They brought his wife up and said, you need to renounce or we will kill her too. And they killed his wife. Thus the song, if you know the verses, though none go with me, still I will follow. No matter what they did, he would not renounce. But what was really interesting was when I found out that 2 years after that incident, that tribesman actually brought the tribal leader